Tastes good?
Yeah, pretty much 90%, until you get down to that last little step.
Thank you, Pat. So, my hands got a little quicker.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I would like to call this October 11th Planning Commission meeting to order. I would ask you to turn off your cell phones and any other devices so not to disrupt the meeting. Anyone wishing to speak to the board, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. The first thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from September 13th.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote for approval of minutes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The minutes are approved. Director Sheehan.
First case tonight, Mr. President, is case P19Z22, petition of Greater Economic Development Alliance, Inc., requesting the Kokomo City Plan Commission petition and recommend to the Kokomo Common Council for a change in zone classification from AR Agricultural Rural Residential and LI Low Intensity Industrial Business Park within the AGOL Agricultural Overlay in the US 31 overlay to HI High Intensity Industrial Heavy Manufacturing, and Mr. Sparks is here to represent this case.
Could I have a motion, please?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. Charlie Sparks with the Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance, 700 East Furman Street. This is more opportunity to establish ourselves as a community to promote economic development related to the Star Plus Energy project, the joint venture project. We've identified about 100 acres here that we would like to have rezoned to help us accommodate opportunities with potential suppliers, and also perhaps to develop a community industrial park.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheehan, please.
Staff report for case P19Z22. Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance is requesting change in zone classification for the 9 properties listed above. This is in your report. According to the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance, HI is compatible with the following zoning districts. The zoning property zonings are as follows: to the north, R1, very low density residential, agricultural, and HI, high intensity industrial heavy manufacturing. To the south, LI, low intensity industrial business park, and MI, moderate intensity industrial light manufacturing. To the east, LI, low intensity industrial business park, and RR, rural residential. And to the west, agricultural, and LI, low intensity industrial business park. The properties specified are not featured in the current City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan future land use map, as they were recently annexed. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of 250 North and 200 North is located in an area defined as follows: 200 North, minor arterial, a street that collects and distributes traffic to and from collector and primary arterial streets. Toby Pike, minor arterial, a street designed to facilitate the collection of traffic from local streets. Also, it provides circulation within neighborhood areas and convenient ways to reach arterial streets. The traffic count for this area of 250 North is 2,006 cars per day. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board now that we've had staff report? Any questions from the audience?
You're getting all these.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am,
I need you to,
you need to come to the microphone.
I'm Dolores Admin, 2116 North, 100 East. You're giving us all this gobbledygook. Where is the map that you're telling us that all this is located at?
Come right up
So
here and
is
take a
this
look
something that's private, so we don't exactly know? who lives
Ma'am, we
in
don't
this
do
area?
anything private that nobody knows. Don't, that does
Then
not
how
happen.
that is
That's
not-
why we have a public
that
hearing
is
tonight.
not actually true.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. I'm not going to argue with you over that. That's why you have a public hearing, ma'am.
Right. Okay, you're changing all this that is partially,
What's highlighted in yellow on that map is what they're gonna look to rezone. That's all we're hearing tonight is the rezoning of it. Nothing's being built, nothing's proposed that we know of to date. It's just a
I know.
rezoning.
so it's just the next step in the,
Could be, we don't know.
you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't know. Yeah. And all this has not already been planned when the city and the county bought the land off of 300 North.
There's probably offers, but we're not here to hear that
I
tonight.
know
It's
you're not here
rezoning.
to hear that. I'm talking about before last year, whenever, when you bought the 300 North property, that all this wasn't already planned.
It was not planned.
It was
ma'am.
not.
Not planned.
This came after the industrial,
It just so happened to come after,
it didn't just so happen, ma'am, it's exactly what happened.
right?
Yeah, that's what happens.
One at a time, please.
So what are you gonna do about the people who are living in this area that are gonna be close to all this with all the landfill and the battery plant and all your other industrial stuff that's gonna go on behind us and around us?
That when we get to that point, there will be site plan approvals, there'll be a public hearing.
Site plan approvals.
That's when the buildings will start there'll be site plan approval for all that. That's when drainage gets looked at.
This is,
Well, ma'am, that's the process.
I know it's the process, but it's a jargon that we have no control over. And this
Ma'am,
is not even,
if
this
you
is
have
not
something to say,
even,
please
Hang
come
on
to
a
the
second,
microphone.
please.
this is
Okay.
not even city property.
It was recently annexed.
All of these properties are getting annexed into the city
So
voluntarily.
you annexed around voluntarily?
Voluntarily. Yes, ma'am. This is not a forced annexation.
Okay.
This is voluntarily.
When were they voluntarily annexed?
I'm sorry?
When were they voluntarily annexed?
Well, as
What are you
each
talking
of
about?
those properties got rezoned, and TJ, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
And they're in the process of being annexed into the city, so that's a process as well.
So
It's
you
initiated,
are-
it's
so
initiated.
you are-
Ma'am, do you want to know about the process? Or do you
What?
want
Go
to
ahead,
speak?
let's hear it.
Okay. So they apply, the owner applies for annexation, and then that goes through the process that goes through city council. At the same time, concurrently, they can apply for rezoning. In this case, they've applied to be high-intensity industrial, which is what we're hearing today. Now, that's going to be subject to the annexation.
So is this the farmer that did this?
Correct.
Because he knew all this was going on? Wouldn't have done it without knowing it was all going on?
There's a petition on file that you're welcome to review, and the representative
So
is
we've
Charlie
got-
Sparks here with the
We've got
Greater
city
Converse.
and industrial all around us now.
Is that a comment or a question?
It's kind of a comment and obviously it is what's going on. Okay, how are you going to, with all this industrial, how are you going to keep our water and our wells clean?
They have to go through site plan approval if there's anything to be built on there at that point in time.
There won't be any discharge into the ground.
There's what?
This will all be hooked up to city sewer and city water.
That's one of the reasons it's all getting annexed into the city, so all this can go on city sewer and water. That's one of the reasons we wanted the annex to happen.
So it'll be another landfill like we have with the Delco plants and all that that's going on. Has to be dug up. Eventually this will have to be doing the same. What's your allowance? Do any of you live in this area?
I don't
live in.
Not even anywhere close to it? You live in any other industrial area?
I do.
Who?
I do. I live over by GM and Chrysler.
That's in North Orleans. I live north.
My name's Charlotte Hood. My son and I own the house directly,
I need an address, please.
1688 East, 200 North.
Thank you.
We're right between Toby Paoli house.
Okay.
Huge, big house. and the wetland that's there. Our water is our main concern. Also living in the house is Megan Moss. She works for the county in water runoff. That's our main concern, because as far as it goes, I don't have a copy of the map, but from what I'm understanding, this goes directly up to our 5 acres. And then from there, there's nothing can be built because, thank you, sir. Thank you.
This one highlights it.
Can you show us where you live as well?
If I'm correct,
That's
you
right
live in
there,
that
we have
house?
5 acres, yes. And that's right next to it is that wetland. Okay, I'm guessing my son and I, our biggest concern is the water quality there, because right now our water's very good. And because it is the low spot, coming off our property is the low spot. It's like the overpass was built right there. Even the bus drivers that I talk to talk about it's sinking. I mean, they can feel that that overpass is sinking because of that land is so wet. They had to haul in, I don't know how many, hundreds and hundreds of tons of rock to build that up for the overpass, and it's still sinking. And it hasn't been up there, what, 3 years? Anyway, our concern is, and we'll keep testing the water quality. That's what Megan does for a living. And we'll keep testing it. We don't like the idea. I thought, well, solar panels, even windmills back there would be great. But heavy industry, I retired from heavy industry. I know the pollutants there. My son works at Haynes right now. I retired from the casting plant. We're talking a dirty environment. Heavy industry, that scares me. And as a homeowner, we just got the place paid off. And I don't even want, at 73 years old, I don't even want to think about moving again. I'm planning on dying there. My husband's ashes are there, my daughter's ashes are there, my grandson's ashes are there. It's where I plan on having mine.
My name's Jack Gallagher. I live at 1080 East, 200 North. And I addressed you people before. And like I said, we've got a lot of concerns about what's going on in there, what we're going to be faced with. And frankly, I built in the county. I want to stay in the county. I don't want any part of the city. I moved out of the city, and I built in the county, and I want to stay in the county. And I don't want somebody building in my backyard that's dumping all kinds of crap in there that I don't know what's going on. Now, if you want to live next to the industrial area, or you want to live there, that's fine. You can buy right in there. But I don't want them around me. They're close enough now. I moved away from stuff like that. I moved away from the Continental Steel Mill, that mess over there, to get away from it, to get out some fresh air and some fresh water. I've got city water runs right through my front yard. Across the street is city sewage. I want no part of it. That's the reason why I put a well and septic system in. I want no part of it. And what you guys are proposing here is we're going to wind up, whether we like it or not, we're going to be in the city, or we're going to live in the middle of a factory somewhere. They're going to be driving through the yard to get into the factory, basically. So, you know, you've got a lot of people out there built in the country. We want to stay in the country. We don't want this stuff around us. You know, hey, there's plenty of land south if you want to go there. All that industrial area is down there. But no, somebody's got to build in a nice, fresh area and change it around, do away with all the farming area. So, you know, that's all I can say.
Terry Tater Roach. I live in East Lordeman Street. I'm just concerned, like they are, about water purification and the ground staying as pure as it can. I'm sorry, all these people live in the county. A city can only grow. That's just a fact of life. You ain't never seen a city not grow out. That Kokomo used to be small. Over on South Lock Street was the country. You know, cities got to grow. We got to have jobs. Too many people in this town dying because of drugs because they ain't got nothing to do but drugs. And I don't like all these Chicagoans coming in.
Sir, I understand you're worried about the quality of water. I appreciate that. If you could stick to topics to this case directly. I'll be more-
Well, it's the case. You better widen the roads out there on Toby Pike. Because I ride my bike out, I try to ride my bike out there every day. And I don't care how much traffic's on there. They hit me, I'm gonna jump up and be pissed.
Very good. Any other comments from the audience? Any? Ma'am, I'm sorry.
You have to
This is
come
not
to the
my
microphone.
rules.
Yeah, I want a copy of this too. Yeah, this was just brought to my attention. What is highlighted here in the yellow, has this been annexed into the city? I mean, did we get annexed into the city and never hear anything about it?
No,
The
it's in
other
the
pa-
process.
the
of
two
being
pages
annexed,
that-
But you are not included in that process.
But it's in the yellow.
No, just take those 2 pages away, the other one that I gave you,
Yeah,
that page right there,
Yellow.
those yellow properties are the ones
the
that are
ones that
being
will be
voluntarily
annexed.
Those are the
annexed.
ones
So
that
the
are-
city limits will come right next to our
Those
property.
will be in the city, you will not.
Thank you, thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board? The motion need to be subject to annexation. We don't have it, we just made a regular motion. Do we need to amend the motion?
Yeah, you can. Motion approval, you can amend that motion so that it's subject to approval of the annexation.
Annexation.
Yeah.
Whoever made the motion, I need that done, please.
Who made the motion, Jess?
Did you?
Who did?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion for approval subject to annexation.
I need the second again.
Second.
Who said, okay.
There you go.
Okay, no other comment from the board. I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case 19Z22, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It now goes to the city council and will be presented there by Councilman Grecu. Director Sheehan.
In this case, Mr. President, is case P14A22, Trip Engineering Consulting, LLC, and Sherry Martin requesting development plan approval for Little Rugrats Early Learning Center. This is at corner of 400 South State Road 26 and 200 West Dixon Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Is there someone here to represent this case? Please come forward.
Tori Tripp, Trip Engineering Consulting, 401 South Second Street, Converse. This project will be in Lot 2 of the commercial subdivision, which is the lot closest to the existing residential subdivision. It'll include approximately 8,300 square foot early learning center, approximately 5,000 square foot playground that will be fenced. It'll have associated parking and sidewalks, and then the entrance will be off of the county road. And then I can answer any questions you guys have.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience?
John Kelly, 4160 Lake Windermere Lane, Kokomo, Indiana. I'm also secretary for the HOA. All I've seen is the erosion control plan, so it may not be showing a lot of detail, so maybe that's where most of my questions are coming from. Is the final entrance where the drawing shows the CE or construction entrance? Okay. Has the state or county approved the location of that entrance? Since we were under the impression that
city's.
something had to be further than 400 feet or 400 feet away from like 26 or whatever, so I just wanted to
That
make
would
sure.
apply on State Road 26, it wouldn't apply on Dixon Road.
Okay.
Our ordinance is 100 feet.
Okay. Will that same entrance be used for the second lot, which is the north lot that we're not talking about tonight? Okay. And what is the height of any separation between the development and our subdivision? We were under the impression when we had the first hearing on the multifamily rezoning that they would put a fence or mounds or whatever. Just wondering if there are any plans for any kind of divider?
There's a setback, and I don't remember what the setback is, and then there's a 20-foot buffer yard, just double out trees planted in that.
Okay.
So I don't remember what the original setback is whatever this zoning is.
There has to be a buffer yard between the
Right.
commercial and.
Yeah, I just wondered
and
whether
residential.
anything that would be of any height, not just space, but just.
You're going to fence in the playground, right?
The playground will be fenced, it'll be a 6-foot wrought iron fence black. But then the buffer yard will have trees all through that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P14A22, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is approved.
Next case, Mr. President, is case P11A22, Trip Engineering and Consulting. Ken Lucas requested development plan approval for Market Street mini warehouses. This is at 310 East Jefferson Street.
Move for approval.
Second.
Tory Tripp, Trip Engineering Consulting, 401 South Second Street, Converse. This will be various sized warehouses. There's going to be a total of 40 units. The smallest unit is around 120 square feet, and the largest is just over 1,760 square feet. The rentals will be done online, and it will be fenced in the areas that the building don't take up. So the area will be enclosed, and there will be keypad entry into the site. And then I can answer any questions you have.
Just so everyone, during plat, city engineering had some issues with the drainage. They suggested that they tap into the city sewer, and they've done that, I think, John, is that correct?
Yes.
So that was the main concern with this. 2 or 3 months ago, they went through the Board of Zoning Appeals and got some variances for this lot. So the only big issue outstanding was the hooking up to the city sewers. John was afraid that the water would be going out onto the roadway, which it would have, the way it was originally set up. So as long as John's happy with it, I'm happy with it. I think everything else has been taken care of.
I'm okay with it.
All good at plat? Good. I did bring up the earlier meeting, I didn't know how close you were going to come to the street. You're still got in that the vision triangle has to be there on that stop sign.
Right.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P11A22, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is approved. Director Shudo.
Next case tonight, Mr. President, is ordinance number 7060. It's an ordinance approving a moratorium on the construction and development of storage units, storage facilities. We are, and when I say we, I mean the Plan Commission office, we are getting several calls, sometimes weekly, for storage facilities. I know that there is a need for them in our community, and I'm all for that. But unfortunately, our ordinance is somewhat out of date for storage facilities. So as many calls as we're getting, we felt like it was necessary to hit the brakes for a few months to give us a chance to look at our ordinance and to see what we needed to do. I think there's some issues with where we're putting some of the storage units, so we might want to change some of the zoning of where we're going to put them. and I really don't know what all we want to do yet, but it's hard to look and change your ordinance when you're getting calls every day for that type of development. So that's why we just want to put basically a 6-month stop on any development of that, so we can take a look at our ordinance, and then obviously those changes would come back before you all as well as city council.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions now that we've heard that and we've had a motion and a second? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the, what do I call this?
Favorable recommendation of ordinance number 7060.
Yeah.
Thank you. You did good there, Mr. Attorney. I didn't have the case number looking at it. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It now goes to the city council and will be presented there by Councilman Greekview. Director Sheila.
Next is ordinance number 7061, an ordinance approving a moratorium on the construction and development of gas stations. Basically, this is ditto of what we just talked about with the storage facilities. We're getting lots of calls about new gas stations. Again, our ordinance is a little out of date on where we want to have them in our community and what kind of standards we need, so we just need to take a pause to look at those and make some changes in our ordinance. And again, that will all come back before this board and go to city council as well.
And you said this is a 6-month
Could I have,
Yes.
a-
6
moratorium?
months. Correct.
So pending through April, is that correct?
Sounds right.
Sounds right, yeah. Well, whenever it gets
Through
whenever it's
March.
approved by city council, yes.
May,
Yep.
what time they get to city council?
Yeah, because
For
it's
May?
got to get approved by city council before it'll move forward.
could I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote for the change in the ordinance number 7061. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. It now goes to the common council and will be presented there by Councilman Greekview. Anything on other business, Director Sheila?
I have no other business tonight, Mr. President.
Next thing on the agenda is approval of claims.
I move to approve claims in the amount of $23,069.81.
Second.
Any questions on the claims? Hearing none, I'll call for approval of claims. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The claims are approved. Would anyone like to go to the Coward County Planning Commission on October 18th?
Four cases.
I will not be here.
I'll go.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
It's during fall break and
I'll be in the mountains.
That's the only agenda. I need
Okay. Move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor? Thank you.
who's going